Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Hey,
Hi,
We
welcome back.
dripping. So y'all go ahead and share. For those of you who are joining, Kimberly and Dion will also
yes,
share. I'll share. I think it's going to a couple different pages.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
All
Yes.
right,
move my
we are
camera a little bit. Oh, sorry, y'all.
good.
Like and share, like and
Like,
share.
tag, and share. Yes, we are live. Let
My
me share
Kimberly's
too.
trying to.
Huh?
I said my. mm, okay, hopefully that works.
All right. So it is a okay. We are back, sort of. So let me tell you about that. My name is Kimberly Winborn, of Kimberly Winborn LLC. I'm joined by my co-host Dion Selby and my other co-host Kimberly McGee. You guys already know us. For those who are watching for the oh,
Oh, sorry, guys. Oh,
for those who are uh oh,
I'm sorry.
turn the volume down.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'll mute you for a second. So, for those who are watching for the first time, Love and Flow has been going strong. This is season 3. We took a summer break. We will come back live in September with all 4 of us ladies. Tonight, we're just going to do a drip to sort of talk about some of the summer hot topics, get a feel of how you're doing, and then just give you updates on what's to come. And so, in Love and Flow fashion, we are going to have amazing conversation. So, Kimberly, while she's trying to get her stuff together, we will have Dion to just share a little bit about what she's had going on this
Oh my
summer.
God. Oh my God. It was such a poppin' summer for me.
Yeah.
Yes, it's such a good summer of well, first of all, my daughter was home also on summer break,
Hmm.
but I did have a couple of challenges because I lost my job a couple months ago. But
Yeah.
in that time of like interviewing, looking for a job, y'all know I still continue to keep the self-care going where I will hit up the beach, I will hang out with friends. I know you guys saw on my timeline where I was day partying
Yes.
with girlfriends and still having a good time because for me, I don't know about y'all, but that's how I recharge. I recharge with my girlfriends and hanging out and having fun. I know a lot of other people recharge by going into self and secluding and and sometimes isolating, which I don't think is always healthy as a, from a health standpoint. But for me, I got to hit the day party scene, the day party and the beach and hanging out with girlfriends. So that's really what my summer was about. Also hanging with my daughter. She was home for summer break. It was also really good seeing her hanging with her girlfriends. I know that before we had talked about a lot about bullying and all this other stuff, these challenges for these middle school challenges that she was
Yeah.
going through.
Yeah. What
But
happened
I
there?
am so happy to see that she has like overcome those challenges. Virtual learning is over. These kids are back in school, and just to see her reconnecting with some of her girlfriends and being able to go to the mall and having movie
Yes.
dates and things like that has just been so cool because it's been challenging for me. I don't know about you, Winborn, because you're into the teenage
Yeah.
age
Yeah. Yeah.
zone now too, right?
Yes.
But now Nina is like a little independent, she's a little independent woman doing her own little thing and having, this newfound independence of
Yeah.
being at the mall for a couple of hours while I'm staking out in the parking lot
I
waiting.
love it. I
She went to
love
her
it.
first high school game.
Love it. Well, Sophie is 13, so she's going to. Hey, y'all who are joining, make sure to say hey. Who's
Yes,
watching so
let us
we
know
can,
who's
yeah, so
watching.
we can shout you out. So she's been asking me like to go hang out with her friends. They did go to the mall, but chaperone because they're 13, 12. So they did, but that's kind of cool. That I like that. Like I like that she wants to be more social because not to tell too much of her business, but the pandemic definitely
Well,
had
yeah,
an
well, that's what I
effect.
was saying about virtual
Yeah,
learning. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
it had
Like
an
to see
effect
them
on
come out of
her.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so she was starting to begin to tell herself a story. Like I said, not to tell too much of her business, but I'm so glad that she broke out of that shell, that belief that was starting to build, and decided to
Mm-hmm.
be more
Mm.
social. And so yeah, it's been good for her, and I love it. And so for those of you who have kids, especially going through this pandemic, like, I hope that you can have that same story. Like, they are now coming out of their shells a little bit,
You see them
and
socializing more.
socializing. Yeah, yeah, I can say definitely. I'm so excited. And what came with that is wanting to have more of a say about her wardrobe, because she went through this spell where she could care less, and now she's like, oh, that's not my style. I'm like, oh,
Love it.
okay,
Love it.
right, Kim, right. I know you do
That's
Love
look
it.
cute.
stylish
That is
down
so
there with the
cute.
cute glasses and the red lip.
Yes.
Yes, but what's next
I
summer been like?
I'm just reminiscing. Listening to y'all has bring back a little bit of summer madness nostalgia for me.
Yeah,
I'm grateful for the kids, but I will say I am just listening to that is just bringing back some old memories for my kids. I missed them when they were that age. They were so much fun at that age.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
so much fun. So
yeah. And it
you
happens
guys
so
just really
fast. It
well.
happens so fast. So I
If,
feel that.
yeah, if I can give any advice to you guys, just really take in the moment. Don't let it go by because it goes by so fast. And I kind of miss Keto and Jasmine when they were at that age because I had so much fun with them, and so I
Mm-hmm.
do
oh,
miss those moments, and to see them kind of come into their own and shift. And man, that's really nice to hear that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
great. So I know we're going to talk about some really great topics from the summer. A lot of things have
Hmm.
happened. Hey, Walker Reconstruction. I think it's Tania. I think, did I pronounce that right? Is it Tanya or Tania? But hey, Walker Reconstruction LLC, please share. Thank you for joining us this evening. And if you have children, tell us anything you want to share about your child, anything new for the summer or something that they're looking to as far as going back to school. We were just talking about how our daughters are, more socialized, etc., and we love that, and into fashion and things. So a lot has happened. I know
Hmm.
last few shows, we were talking a little bit about Brittney Griner. We were talking about some of the other things that were going on in the news, and then some of our own personal journeys, different things we were looking forward to. We always talk about mental health and self-care and all of that, but so we wanted to come back as a preliminary to our season, well, not season launch, our summer break relaunch, and have a show to sort of clue you into some things that are coming up. And I'm gonna tell you, and you ladies can echo if you agree. We just had an amazing conversation backstage.
Oh
We always
yeah.
do.
We
We
It's
always
always
our
do.
do.
it's our show
We
backstage.
always have our little girl talk sessions.
But I think that stuff, we need to have that stuff out here. If our conversation backstage is any indication of what this season or
It's
the
gonna
rest of this
bring.
season is going to
Oh
bring,
yeah,
y'all go ahead and tell all your friends to join the group,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Love and Flow TV,
yeah.
and just be ready and available to really share your thoughts as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
what do
Yeah.
y'all
Differing
think?
opinions, differing opinions. So we
Yeah,
Yeah.
had some different opinions, which was
but we
Yeah.
good.
love and we flow. So Kenya is not here. She is still with us. Kenya is
Yeah.
just not here this evening because we said we were just going to do a drip to do a prelim show, and so she
Hmm.
will be back in September. Kimberly will not be with
Yeah.
us in September, however, because she has another priority. So we will more
I
than
will be in
likely.
the PR. I will be in Puerto
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Rico.
Oh,
I'll be in
Yeah,
Puerto Rico.
Puerto
Yes.
yes, that
Rico.
sounds
Yes.
She's
nice.
gonna
Yes.
come back
Yeah.
with an accent, fluent Spanish. But
I
we
can barely speak English half the time, so I think I'm.
well, we look forward to we're probably gonna
Yeah.
have a guest in her seat.
It's gonna
That'll
be
be the first
super.
time.
That'll be
Yeah,
super fun. Yeah. That'll be
yeah,
super
yeah,
fun. Yeah.
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 So we are talked about anything that's changed, any unexpected turns of events, any
Well,
unexpected turn of
yeah,
events.
I had one. I actually tore a ligament in my leg this summer.
Oh my gosh,
That
that's
was an
right.
unexpected turn for me, and so it has put a damper. And you talk about mental health. This summer has been, I don't know what it was about this summer. It seemed more challenging, I think, than even when I was going through the freaking pandemic. Like it was just,
Yeah.
I had to really battle my mental state. And Dion, I had to go back to some of those things that we had talked about. Just manifesting some things physically, not being
Mhm.
able to bend my knee for the first time in my whole life. And listen, there are other things that are important in the world, I know, but not being able to be mobile and finding myself, at this stage where I like, okay, I'm getting older, my mobility, what in the ham sandwich is going on. So that for me has been a challenge this summer. I'm expecting a grandbaby, any another grandson in the next couple of weeks. So fingers crossed, everything goes well with my little blessed one this summer.
Yay.
So
Oh,
I'm excited about being a grandmama of two little boys. And
wow.
I'm so excited about that my legacy is, it's one of those things that we talk about like turn of events. I've been really contemplating and taking stock with the new baby coming and looking at my grandson, spending time with him, speaking life into him.
Mhm.
Dion, I know you'll love this one. Like when we take our little walks, I talk to him now, even, he's not even two yet. And
Oh.
I say, Kobe, I'll always be here for you. And I speak life into him and I tell him, that he's great and he's smart and, great things are coming his way. And I'm hoping that as he grows older, when things get tough, he'll say, Kiki, I need to go have our walks. And
Mm.
so him and I can just walk and just
Oh, and y'all have
be
that
with each
special
other.
relationship together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So let me
we
ask you
have that.
though, as we were talking about our daughters like being
Mhm,
teenagers, and you were talking about your kids and how you were saying
mhm,
that it kind of touched you from a place of
mhm.
reminiscing. How do you feel
Yeah.
now that, you're now having a different relationship as the grandmama?
Yeah, I think, I now, for the first time in my life, I see myself as a matriarch. I didn't at first. I just saw myself as a mother. But now I
Mm.
am the matriarch of a tribe.
Mhm.
Like, my children are grown and now I've got this next generation. It's weird. I have this
Yeah,
next
I love that. I
generation.
love that because you know how we always say like our grandmothers prayed over us, like
Mhm,
the reason
mhm,
why we're so blessed the way we are now is
mhm,
because of those grandmothers'
mhm,
prayers and
Yeah.
mhm,
you know what I mean, and our mother's prayers, and it
Yeah.
just made me think of that like you were
mhm.
just saying, like that's just a different relationship. It's a different
Yeah.
relationship, not just you being a mother to your children, but now your grandchildren. It's like
Yeah.
you're, like you said, you're thinking about that legacy.
Yeah, it is. It is a legacy thing. I think to see your children become adults and then have children of their own, it is a different feeling. It's a different love, that is true, but it is a different feeling to say, wow, you literally can see your legacy before you.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
what you live, like for me, I just speak for myself to see myself in these little boys, like they're gonna look to me. And I really pray because, I'm hoping that the climate changes as they get older, as white as I look, going with them to their first school, and somebody's like, Kobe, is that your grandma? I'm just hoping they don't have to have that eye on them. And I'm just,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
they're gonna be two little black boys, and
Mhm.
so I'm
Mhm.
just praying for their safety and and it is a different kind of feeling, but it does
Mhm.
it does bring me joy to hear you guys talk about your girls. And man, I miss those moments. They were so fun.
Yeah.
Y'all enjoy the ride, man. I'm telling you,
I love
it's
it.
nice.
I love
Oh
it
yeah,
too.
yeah,
I love it
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah. This summer has been something else. And, you're
yeah,
talking about legacy. And a lot of times I think when we talk about like prayers and stuff like Dion, you just say, my grandma or your mother or whoever. And I think, and I know it's a saying, but also when I highlight the gents, the fathers, the grandfathers who
yes.
are praying for us as well, and
Mhm,
just the
mhm.
power of a man in
Mhm. Those
the picture,
examples.
those
Yeah.
examples
Yeah,
of
Yeah.
yeah.
being
Oh,
Yeah.
in.
providers and working
Yes.
hard. Yeah.
Yes, and showing us how to be loved, how to be
Mhm.
taught with. Like I think about your dad, Dion, and
Oh
you
my
guys are always
God.
going back and forth on Facebook. But then also your dad, Kimberly, and just the
Yeah.
relationship that I see
Yeah.
there, and how much they have poured into you and helping to make you who you are. And so,
Mhm.
definitely want to
Yeah.
highlight that. And so, one of the, as you guys know, one of the things that happened for in my summer, which actually shifted a lot, was that my dad passed away.
Yeah.
Many people would say stepdad, but I've known him since I was 8
Mhm.
9 months old,
Mhm.
so I've known him
Yeah.
Mhm.
my whole life.
That's
Mhm.
And
right.
so he passed away. That was absolutely a transition and has
Yeah.
Mhm.
been an unexpected turn of events. But with all things that happen in our lives, there are lessons, and
Mhm.
there are also gifts that are left behind.
Mhm.
Back to that word
Mhm.
legacy, there are
Mhm.
gifts.
So, Kimberly, what have you been doing through that season? Like, what's been helping get you through that? Because,
Mhm.
Uh,
like with me losing the job and having to rebrand with insurance, but we done been, I didn't,
yeah,
it's like I'm kind of numb to this thing now because I've been through it like 2 or 3 times now in the last
yeah,
year. You guys know I've lost my job, like due
yeah,
to being in this mortgage industry. It's been tough, because
Mhm.
it's been so
yeah.
unstable with the volume. So, I know for me, like, I have to be around my family and friends. Like, I have to be to get through, difficult times. What helps you get through stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's funny. I can echo kind of what you said with what has helped me. But Tanya says, "Blessed summer, switch careers, retired myself from corporate." So
Oh, so
congratulations
listen, there's
there.
a lot of this going on.
Yeah, stepped out on faith to do my own thing, working with youth,
Wow.
teaching them personal development skills, and that has been amazing
That
for
is so
her.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, and
awesome.
I'll share your
Awesome.
other comment in a moment, but congratulations for stepping out there. And so to your question, Dion, that's the stuff that has brought me through. Like for a minute I didn't connect as much. I focused on my family. I focused on what I needed to do for my own mental health, self care, spiritual health. I
Mhm.
mourned him, and I still
Mhm.
am. And I just felt those feelings. I went through it
Mhm.
all, like,
Mhm.
and continue. And I decided that what I was going to do is help to extend his legacy. And I talked with my family members about, he had this brand called Popeye's Chili, and so Popeye's chili, we used to launch it every fall. He would, get some chili orders. I would post about it. People would reach out to me or him and ask if they could order some chili. So we plan
The
to.
chicken chili was off the bomb.
Oh
It was
yeah,
the
that chicken.
bomb.
Oh my God, I
And that's what.
haven't had it.
Yeah, he
Ah,
was. Somebody has. It
Oh.
was going out so much that we had some frozen, and one of the elders in the church brought, gave that to me. So we're gonna make sure we get the recipe right. But the chicken chili, I actually we told him that people were requesting that, and so I gave him a recipe, and then he tweaked it. So the white chicken chili he only did one
Oh.
time, but we put it on the menu. So that is how, for me, it's about action, and I want to help him. He has such a legacy with so many people, and so
mm.
that's what I do. And then, to your point of starting things new, I decided to actually re-up, because some things that happened with his death and the funeral and all that stuff, it made me say, you know what, I can be a better resource for people in these
Mhm.
situations when it comes to a burial plan, and really getting through that process, because it's
Mhm.
hard. I've lived it now.
Mhm.
And so I got certified to be a burial plan final expense specialist. And
Mhm.
so I've been,
Wow.
yes, so I've been doing. Thank
Congratulations. You
you.
can help
So I've
other
been
people
doing
with
that.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we are talking, helping people get through all of those final wishes, so
Mhm.
that it's easier, and
Mhm.
that will also eliminate some of the stuff that families go through with anger, and
All the
Yeah.
stress.
all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
pain begins to turn
Yeah.
Mhm.
into, and so anyway, that's the long and short of it. But still, I just decided family is the most important thing right now, and so I took about a month or so, and that was the focus.
Good for
Yep.
you.
Well,
That's awesome. Good for you.
I don't think y'all knew this. I worked for Mont Lawn when I was in college. That's how I paid for my schooling.
You work for
Pre
who?
Mont Lawn, it's a funeral home.
Oh, so
Oh,
where
okay.
is that? Where is it?
It's on Wilmington Street.
Oh, okay.
So I
I,
did
I was like,
I
well, what?
did
I was getting
pre
ready to add. Let me go to Google real quick and
Right. I
Google
was
this.
like, I said, let
Montlon.
me just
Yeah, it's
ask.
Montlon. And it was one of those things I did through school to pay for my college because
Yeah.
it was quick sales and prepaid funerals are essential.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's so much that people don't know, Kimberly, and I'm sure you ran into that
Mhm.
about that market or that the arena. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, funeral companies sometimes funeral homes will try to get over. So it's just that's I didn't know that. It's always something new that we learn about Kimberly Woods McGee on every show. Tanya,
I still have my funeral
do
certificate,
you?
my funeral. You got to
Well,
renew it every 5 years.
Well, even with this topic, that was actually what I transitioned into was
Insurance.
rebranding and insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing life now,
Yeah.
Medicare, auto, home.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So, yeah,
you
so now
doing
we're
That's
having even
great.
more
that's
discussions about
awesome.
life insurance and,
Yeah.
Yeah,
doing
I
that. So, yeah,
Yeah,
this
we
all
have
kind
that
of
in
yeah.
goes.
common. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Dion and I have always had that, and we have so much in common. But we're both life agents. I don't do
mhm.
Medicare anymore. So
Okay.
whenever I need a resource for Medicare, I know who I can send them to, even though I'm licensed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
Yay.
have that in common. I just want to read this comment. The work we do for ourselves is rewarding. The work serving we do to help others fulfilling. The work we do in our
Mhm.
purpose for God. I love this comment. Priceless, like the whole
Priceless.
thing, and it
Mhm.
echoes what we're talking about. What were you gonna say,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kimberly?
I was gonna say, not to have a hard sell for people, but I can't express it enough. And I know, Kimberly, you've talked about this before with your debt detox book, which I
Mhm.
really encourage people to get. But
Thank you.
pre-planning and insurance, I know people feel like the insurance it's ran by the
A hard
mafia.
topic
it's a
and
hard,
also
it's
a
a
hard
hard,
topic.
right? Because they feel like they don't get what, but I have to say, when it comes to pre-planning and estate planning, it's amazing we're on this topic. Talk about the summer. I have taken the summer this year to start a Google Doc for my family, which I'm going to be sharing with them. So y'all will hear it first because they haven't even got the link yet. Where I put in the Google Doc a last will and testament that they can put together themselves, a living will, a to-do list in case of a hurricane, in case of a death, the steps you need to take. And I just did it for my family, and
Yeah, that's
and I
powerful.
only did it for my family because I just had a meeting every annual in June or July. I always meet with
Mhm.
my financial advisor. So out shout out to Bob Sink over at Mutual. But I
He ain't
just
paying.
had my
He ain't got no
Bob
sponsorship.
Sink.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
My the man that keeps
He's
me the
like, don't
man
be
that keeps
dropping
me
the
out the
plug.
poorhouse,
Right,
Bob
right.
Sink. I love him.
Give
But
us $2.
but I really would encourage everybody, if you're watching the replay, really reach out to you guys, Kimberly and Dion, about it, because I cannot express the relief that I have that my funeral is arranged, my cremation package is done, my estate is settled, the outline of my estate is settled. And I have to say, it has really relieved me to know that I don't have to worry about that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Hey
yeah.
Dwayne, Jay Dwayne.
Hey,
So
Jay.
I really want to
Hey.
encourage
Hey,
everybody. And
Elton.
like I said, this was not an attempt for a sale, a hard sale, but I just
Mhm.
really
No,
want to encourage people from my heart. I'm
necessary.
just
Yeah,
telling
no, I
you
think that it's
that
I think it's
is,
so important just to make it a normal part of the conversation.
I
So
think so.
I think that's absolutely needed. And I
Yeah,
love what you said too, as far as just kind of taking charge of that. There's always at
yeah,
least one leader of the family anyway.
Yeah,
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 Yeah. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know
eh,
about you. I'm the oldest, so I kind
yeah,
of get appointed that. But yeah,
I'm
I
the
think that
oldest
that just
girl.
needs
yeah.
to be a normal part
And
of the
yeah, and I
conversation.
think for and I know we've talked about this. I even put like a prenup form in there, contract in there that you can fill out and get it.
She's
So
trying to sneak that in. She's
Go
trying to
ahead and
sneak that into the
sign this
conversation.
prenup.
Lord, but
so
these are
I put
good.
it in there for them, and some of my family members, some of my brother. It really is for my brothers and sisters, and some of them are already they're already established, but I just wanted us to be on top of our game,
Mhm.
Well, we
and
need to
and
have
understand
these
that.
conversations, Kimberly.
Yes,
Like,
Yeah.
especially
we
in the black communities. In
yes,
the black
Yes.
yes, because
communities, we
how
need
Yeah.
to step it
many
up.
how many of us run into the scenarios where we having to try to raise money within the
Come
family in
on,
order to bury
Kimberly.
someone,
Yeah.
and so if we just know better, we do better,
We
hopefully, and
do
that's all
better.
this
Yeah.
is. Our
Yeah.
goal is to help people to do better when they know better. And one of
Mhm.
Yeah.
the things I want to comment on what you said, Dion, as far as there's usually somebody in the family that takes over, and a lot of times if there's not a patriarch, there is a matriarch, and oftentimes it is
Mhm.
the matriarch. And so one of the things that
Mhm.
we wanted to talk a little bit about is the because this week was what was it, National Women's
Women
Oh,
Equality
equality?
Day.
Yeah.
Equality
Mhm.
Day
Yeah,
yesterday. Yeah, Friday.
yesterday. And so we do want to
Mhm.
talk just a little, guys, don't go nowhere. We do want to talk just a little bit about the art of a woman or the power of a
Yes.
woman. And in my gender culture and gender women and culture class today, we were
Mhm.
actually talking about gender women and culture through history, and it was so good, Kimberly.
Mm.
I cannot wait to share this with y'all. But what did you want to say as far as that celebration,
Well, I
Kimberly?
think one of the things that we as women and even our men, it's really essential that we get men behind the equality fight for equality, because if we don't have our brothers in arms with us, then what we're going to find ourselves is fighting against the grain.
Hmm.
And so, but let's keep in mind that even with the 19th Amendment, it still took women of color decades to get the right to vote. And still, women of color are what? Still the 14% in reluctant to their counterparts of white females are not in any kind of leadership role. So it's just one of those things I think we need to be considered about. Black women were still the last to get the rights to vote. Indigenous women came first, then other women of color, and then not until the civil rights of the 1965 was black women under that was able to vote and
Mhm.
have a voice. And I think that's not very far.
No,
1965,
it doesn't, it just
I was
doesn't
born
even
in
sound that long
1969.
ago.
I was born in 1969.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a long way to go.
Yeah, yeah. But I
And
love
just
what you said, Kimberly, about getting our brothers behind us. I think we
mhm,
Mhm.
we really need to understand that the divisiveness has to we have to overcome that. We have to overcome being able to support each other in our
Mhm.
movements, in our in our initiatives and things that
Mhm.
are important to us. We have to be heard, and I think that's the key is them taking the time to listen to what we're saying
Mhm.
and be able to join us in the fight of the things
Mhm.
that are important to us and the movements that we
Mhm.
need to overcome.
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And one of the things that with a Brittney Griner scenario, people were saying that it could potentially be a race issue, it could be a gender issue, it could be a social issue. So the question, thoughts on Brittney Griner: is this a race or social issue, or was she just wrong?
Mm.
What are your thoughts? Tell
The
us in
thi-
the comments.
Yeah, I don't think she was wrong. I think here's the thing about Brittany Griner, and I'm gonna go a little bit political. Brittany Griner was very, you better be careful what you say about your own country, because Brittany Griner was very anti-American,
Hmm.
and she gave a lot of praise to Russia, and now look where she's at. And I
Hmm.
think um as a I'm not sure what she claims, lesbian, or I don't think she's transgender, but being part of the LGBTQ community, um, it is already dangerous for her. It was very dangerous for her to be there. The second thing, the question is, why is she there? The fact that our WNBA women still have to go and make money off season to provide for their families is a disgrace, in my opinion. That's the issue, another issue. And I worry about her safety, because not because she's a black woman, but because she's a gay black woman. And I worry about her safety. It's
Mhm.
illegal in Russia to be homosexual. So I do worry about her safety. So I think it's just one of those things that I hope it has opened up her eyes to be grateful. Listen, our country has a lot of issues, but you don't get locked up in a cage. I mean, they put her in a cage. If you look at him, like she's stuck in this cage. She's super tall. I don't know how tall she is, but to
Six
see
nine.
her 6'9", so to see her like compacted in this cage, for me, it's traumatic. It's extremely
Mm.
traumatic, and my heart breaks for her. My heart breaks for her entire
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I am disgusted by the infrastructure of our system, the WNBA, the NBA, our sports officials. Because I think if it was LeBron James, I've said this before, or anybody from, I
The
can't think of
NBA.
anybody, anybody from the NBA, NFL. If it was Tom Brady, I think tables would have been moving, chairs would have been turning over. It would have been an outrage, and I don't think we still talk about it enough. And
Yeah.
she's used as a pawn. It really is a sticky situation, and my heart goes out to her.
So when it
Mhm.
goes to the issue of inequality in America, you feel like if she was a man in the WNBA, NFL, whatever, then she would be out of jail. She would be here in spite of what occurred. And
If
so
she right.
there's that question. There's that question. Back to equality. All of that.
Mhm.
One of the things that Dion, I think, kind of tickled around is just feminism to a certain degree, like when there, and we talked about this just a little bit, when there's a strong woman or there's
Mm.
a leader of a woman, or somebody like who is in a position of authority or leadership or what have you, there is sort of a switch. And so whether
Mm.
it's they're not given the same opportunities, like you feel like in this situation where if she was doing something, if she was a man, she would get better opportunities. On the other side of it, as a woman, men want us to be feminine, but if we're feminine but strong, then it's like a negative, and it's this whole, oh, you walking this feminism has a negative connotation. And so
Mhm.
what are you guys' thoughts on feminism? Has feminism changed the family structure, femininity, and can you be a feminist and be feminine? I believe these are some of the things that Dion was
Mhm.
interested in sort of talking about. So I would love to go to you.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I think those are all really great points that you brought up because what I've been hearing from most of the conversations that I have like on my Facebook page and
Hmm.
just with individuals in general
Shout out.
is that it's something that we instill in our daughters, but we don't want them in
Mhm.
relationships.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
what I found is that we teach our daughters these practices and the way or these behaviors of being strong and being independent, but then it becomes somewhat of an issue if that's the case in a relationship with your husband or your man. So
Hmm.
I think that's the battle that we're up against as far as
Mm.
it being acceptable in one light, but then it's not acceptable when it comes to the family
Yeah.
structure. So I'm
Hmm.
I
still trying to kind of
Mhm. Mm.
understand,
Mm.
how we get on the same page about that and how we can
Mhm.
combine the two in acceptance, because I think that's really where the issue lies is that I mean, we know that, we're going to present this type of behavior of being independent, being strong,
Mhm.
being, having strong beliefs, having strong opinions, wanting equal rights and wanting partnership but then you get into the conversation of submission and, well, you're not feminine enough. You're not soft enough. If you're too strong, if you're too loud or if you have too much of a voice, then that doesn't come off being feminine. So,
Hmm.
well, but what is feminine? You know what I mean? And what is, the difference of is it being quieter? Is it being, more passive? Is it being a pushover? So I think we need to really kind of understand a little more of the definitions of our behaviors and how we can actually make that more acceptable across, in both scenarios of being an independent and then also in a relationship or in a family structure, with your homes.
I agree. So I had so many thoughts as you were talking, as you were talking, and so I think it's all of it though. Like I think feminism is comprised of a movement when you think of feminism, but to be feminine is a characteristic or a trait. And I think that both can be, one and the same in the same person. You can be a feminist and be feminine. And I think what people tend to equate feminism to is this staunch woman who is against men, right? That it's a movement where you're against men. And you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but or if you feel like I'm wrong, that's my view of feminism versus feminine. Versus being a feminist. I think when you're a feminist, you could potentially sort of be like, women are stronger, or you could maybe kind of yield or lend yourself to the belief that men are actually not as strong, or you know what I mean, like we have more power, or bashing men or what have you.
Mhm.
But I think feminism is just saying, hey, we deserve equality. There's a standard that we should be able to expect as humans, and so I think all of them have different tiers, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I
I
think it's like making it more common of the conversation. Again, like we said before, just talking about it more, being able to kind of express the viewpoints so that we have a better understanding of what that standard is that we're
Yeah,
expecting. Because again, I think for men, when they hear feminist movement or when they hear feminism, it means women are trying to be the men. That's what I think they hear, or
yeah,
that's what I hear from them, is that now it's like, okay, well, now women want to be the men.
yeah,
So I think if we can have more of an understanding of what it means to us versus what it means to them, then hopefully
yeah.
we can kind of get on the same page about that.
And Tanya
yeah,
said, yes, we teach our daughters strength and independence or survival, but we don't teach them enough how to love or thrive in relationships. Love equals partnership, not necessarily submission. That's
I
such
love
a great
that.
point. And
I love that.
feminism define, like if we just go to the dictionary, the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. It doesn't say anything about, men are less than, or men are, it just says that we want equal rights. Kimberly, what were you about to say?
I was going to say, I think if you go back to even some of the characteristics that Dion talked about, having a strong voice and fighting for your right. If you go back in history, you look at Susan B. Anthony, who started the suffragette movement and the feminist movement of her time. She had death threats, and it was unbecoming of her to even have a voice to say, I have the right to vote, I have the right to own property if my husband dies, just to have a survival for your children if your husband passes away,
Yeah,
and it doesn't, for the sake of property and ownership. So it's amazing to see feminism shift gears from fighting. Here's the thing about the suffraging of women that men, I wish some men would get, and I think it's nice to see like my son and this new generation embrace this. I really feel like this generation really embraced this. But you go from women fighting for the right to own property, or the right to vote, or the right to have a financial stability for them and their families if their husband passes away, to the right to be able to work without being harassed, without being sexually harassed, without being looked over because I'm a female and I'm not a male. And I think that if we could get men to really see that we're not asking to take your seat, we're just asking to sit beside you. And it be an equal opportunity to evolve, change, and make our world better.
right.
And
Hmm.
I think if we have that conversation, But I do think, Dion, going back to some of your characteristics that, and I've heard, I was laughing because I've heard that before about myself. You know, you're an aggressive. I've heard that many times in when I was in corporate America. You're very aggressive. You're very this. You're very that. You know, I like a lot of like I wear baseball caps sometimes, and I like suits and I like ties. That doesn't make me feminine. That doesn't make me lack of like doesn't make me like
Less
not a
feminine.
female
Yeah.
or a lack of being feminine. I
Mhm.
like nice things, but I'm
Yeah.
drawn to certain things aesthetically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it goes back to your question, what is feminine?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then I think if you look at history, the Gloria Steinems of the 60s and the 70s, where the feminist movement got a rap because women were so they were trying to fight for the equality, and the message was, I can do it myself, I don't need you. And then you had this wave of women having babies without husbands at that time, and you know, sperm donors. And I think it just, feminism has really gotten a bad rap.
Mhm.
um you know, and I, again, it goes back to not allowing but understanding that women are not trying to take men's place. We are just trying to have an equal playing field to say, I can also provide a service or bring my talent to the table.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I want to. So what you said something about sitting beside them, not not removing them from the table. But I really feel like if you are not qualified to sit at the table, and I am, then maybe you do need to get up and let me take your
Right,
seat.
and
But
right,
the
right,
mission, that's not the total mission, but that the
right.
equality would be if a man has, if there were two men and one of them towered above the other in qualification, then he's going to take that seat. And so
Mm-hmm.
we need to have the same opportunity to be able to do, and then get the same pay that the other one the guy would get, et cetera, et cetera. So I love your point, Kimberly. I love that. And so what is feminine? And I think when you think of feminine, when we've been taught, it's to wear lipstick and get your hair done, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe even wear pink,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
walk a certain way, wear heels, all these
Mm-hmm.
different things. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
good, that's a even better question what you just asked. What is feminine? I
What
mean,
is
I think that's
feminine? Yeah.
a whole show almost, like what is feminine, or a whole
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
and
And
and and
so
what history has taught us what feminine
mhm,
is,
Mhm.
yeah,
right? Going
yeah.
back to the Elizabethan era, where women, you know, were treated like prima donna, particularly white women, let's be real. And this whole corset and having to have a small waistline and a huge bust line, and you know, this
Mhm.
all structured by men, right? In advertisement, saying you need to have this hourglass shape, and you need to look this way, you need to look that way, you need to be porcelain, you need to have. So it is pushed. It's an agenda that's pushed by a man's ideology of what a woman is.
hmm and that conversation could actually extend to men too. So, what does it mean to be a man? Like, what is masculine? And so, when you
Mhm.
have a man that wears, let's just do something general, like wears pink, for instance, does that mean that he's not masculine? And what does that mean? And so, I think that's a whole other
Yeah.
Yeah,
topic
cuz
that we
even
can
think
Johnny
really
about
Depp.
now with
Johnny,
the
look at Johnny Depp. Look at Johnny
mhm.
Depp. Johnny Depp wears
Mhm.
eyeliner. He wears fingernail polish, and
Or
I
a
think
man
he just
wearing
is.
skirts or
Ooh, and
long
I think
dresses.
Johnny Depp
Mhm.
is
Oh
sexy
yeah,
as
skirts
all
or
get
dresses.
out of.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation, just defining from a societal perspective.
Yeah.
And then just breaking that down, maybe that's something we can go into. But today it's just a drip. We're just
Yes.
Yes.
dripping
We're
a
going to have
little
a whole
bit.
show and talk about
Yeah,
the whole
right.
thing
So we're
more.
gonna go ahead and wrap up, you all. But we just wanted to come and just give you a little bit of a piece, a nugget of things that we have coming up. We were backstage talking about religion and faith and
Mhm.
spirituality. Now we up here talking about masculine versus feminine versus femininity and feminism. And so some very really great conversations, really great topics coming up. Beginning September will be our first show back from the summer. We're gonna have a couple other drips leading to that. So just
Mhm.
follow us at Love and Flow TV. Watch the events, watch the flyers. I'm really excited
Me too. I'm
about what's
excited too.
ahead. Yeah, because we can. One of the things I think we all appreciate and love about each other is that we can have these conversations and we can still love. Like
Yes,
we
Right.
like we
don't
still
have
love each
to.
Yeah.
other.
Right, we don't
We're
have
gonna
to
get off it.
100%
We're gonna get
agree.
off later and be like, "Hey, girl, how was your weekend?"
Right. Right. And I think that's how we have to get in society too. Like how can I convince you of anything if I'm beating you down? Like
Yeah.
Yes.
you're really not gonna. You just think about a person in a domestic violence scenario. They're just trying to survive in that situation. Somebody just
Mhm.
beating them down. So how can anybody hear when you're just
Mm.
beating them down about anything? And so when we
Mhm.
can we can bring education and love into
Mhm.
conversations,
Experience.
grace, right? It experience,
Experiences.
it just changes the conversation for me. So I'm excited for this. We only have what, September, October, November, 3 more shows before we wrap it for the year. So join us for the next drips that are coming up, as well as our show in September. I believe that's the 24th. Kimberly or Dion, did you guys want to say anything as we wrap up and close out?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to echo what you were saying. I'm super excited as well. I think that we've had just some new experiences in the time that we've taken some breaks, and
Yeah.
I have some, some things, some thoughts, and some information that I've gathered from, just the conversations I've been having with people over the
Mhm.
summer, and the research and the feedback that I receive on my page from the questions that I ask and things like that. So
Yeah.
I'm fired up as well with, just some new knowledge and enlightenment, like we talked about earlier, well, like we were talking about
Yeah.
backstage, to share and to just be able to just give some other insights on for the shows to come. So yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I put that up. Next show, September 24th.
Mhm.
Go ahead and follow Love and Flow TV. Come on in the group. Follow Coffee and Collaborations. All of the alerts and information you'll be able to get there. You can actually also in Love and Flow TV start a conversation. So if you got something that's on your mind that you want to talk to some people about, go ahead and come on. As long as it's
Mhm.
nothing crazy, we'll approve it and we'll go ahead and have that conversation there. It's not just
Mhm.
about us being conversation starters. We love it when our audience
Yes.
also joins, or anybody in the group joins in. And
Or has
so,
Mhm.
any topics to share. Give us, some new
Yeah.
topics that you want us to talk about. Let us
oh,
know what's hot and popping
somebody
that we
says
can.
I like sharing, or I like share on Dion page. So I guess they like what you have going on your page. Talk about stuff popping.
Yay. Well, awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for supporting.
Yeah.
I try to
Yeah.
keep it popping and engaging. I
you
try.
do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
We having people mad at you and everything. Like,
Yes. Oh my
I
gosh. I
think that
start
listen, I think
with
that's
so
just
many
one of the things that
thought
yeah,
keeps
provoking.
yeah,
yeah,
it keeps people on their toes. I
yeah,
like to say I like for people the summer's not over yet, so definitely take this time to reach out to the ladies about planning. I cannot stress that enough. This is the summer is just a really great time before the holidays to let's get our house in order.
Hmm.
yes.
Let's use this time to really shift, and I don't think we should wait till the beginning of the year to start the year.
Mm-mm.
I think
No.
we
Definitely.
should really be
Definitely not.
putting some things into place, and so I'm looking forward to the next. I won't be here for the one coming back, but the next two when I'll be involved in. So you
Yeah.
know, I'll be
Yeah, I love
excited about
that.
that.
One of the things that I made a post about a couple, maybe like 3 days ago, get your passport and let's get your house in
Yes,
order. Because
yes,
when you can be ready and stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So that
yeah.
jogged that in some people, because there are opportunities will present themselves. And what if you get an international opportunity? And I'm talking to myself too, and you don't have your stuff in order.
You don't
So
have your
not only
passport.
Hmm.
get your
Hmm.
passport and get your house in order. So that is finances, that is your body. Your body is your house, your health, and
Hmm. Your
is a part of your
mindset,
wealth,
your
your
Mhm.
mental,
mindset, all of that. Yeah. And so that's
physical. physical being too, like
physical
getting back to
being.
working out
Mhm.
and
Yeah, all of
taking
that. So
walks and
to your
connecting with nature. Yes, all of
No,
that.
I
yeah,
think it's
such a
it's one of
great
those things
point,
that
Kimberly.
yeah, I
That was
think it's one of those things we talked about is we need to learn how to be world citizens and not just citizens of our region and our state, but be world citizens,
yeah,
and prepare ourselves, know how to travel.
yeah.
I people can call me bougie, and I really don't care. But when I go somewhere and I travel, I always pay for a driver.
Mhm. Okay.
I sure do.
So that's about getting your house in order though,
I
because
sure do.
then
People are like, oh, you
you
pay
can
for a
have
driver. Pay the
you
little
can
extra
have
to get somebody to drive you. Hmm.
all of those amenities if you plan,
That's
right?
that's
And so
right. That's
so
right.
reach out to any of us if you need anything. We'll be back here on September 24th for the show with all four ladies, but just watch for those drips. We're going to at least do one more before the show coming up. And so if you got anything that you guys want us to talk about, that you got a question that's been on your mind that you would love to hear our opinions or thoughts, please go ahead and share them with us in either Love and Flow or reach out to one of us, and we'll definitely have that conversation. So y'all have a great rest of your Saturday evening. I know these ladies have schedules, and so do I. So we're gonna go ahead and log off. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for the comments and all of that. We love y'all. See you
Thank you
soon.
guys. We'll see you soon.